boy Zach, back at it again here today. It's Tuesday. We got loaded up yesterday out of Salisbury, North Carolina, back up here in Veolia, which is in West Carrollton, Ohio. So today, just a quick little unload in the rain. Once we unload, we're gonna hit the road, hit the Jersey, and see what the plan is for tomorrow. So while we wait here to get unloaded, go ahead and just hang out, and I'll get back with you once the process gets moving a little bit further. All right, so after a few more minutes, she came out, gave me the okay. So we came in, pulled here on the scale. We're waiting on them to come out and grab my loaded weight. Once they grab my loaded weight, either they're going to take a sample here of the chemical, or they're going to have me move to a staging location. Then at the staging location, they'll go ahead and grab the sample, send it over to the lab, get all the lab work done. Typically that takes about 2 hours, which honestly is the longest part of waiting, pulling hazmat, really pulling any tanker, is waiting on lab work. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's food grade, eggs or milk or vegetable juice or apple juice. If you are live unloading, everything has to be sent to the lab before you can unload. Timing's always different. Some facilities are pretty quick. I've been to facilities that they pull a sample within 20 minutes, I'm going to get unloaded. I've been at facilities where they pull a sample and it's 3 days later. The first load I ever pulled going to Memphis got rejected out of Detroit, sent back to our yard in Jersey. I picked it up right after training, went home for the weekend, and took it out to Memphis, Tennessee. When I got out there, they did the sample, and they're like, well, we don't know what we can do because this is kind of like sludge. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And they pulled a little sample, and I saw it, and it's literally just thick sludge, and it wasn't supposed to be like that. So ended up having to come up with a game plan. It took like 2 days. I mean, it was a while that we were sitting down there. Had to call a hazmat crew to come out to get permits to enter the tank. Didn't really need to enter the tank, but we had to have the permits just on the off chance. Ended up using my pump on the side of my truck that I'll go into a little bit more detail of here shortly. Blew it out of the truck using the hose into pretty much wood chips to kind of help solidify it, because the chemical that I was hauling, all they're going to do is they're going to take it and they're just going to go burn it. They'll use the steam, create power. Majority of what I haul is hazardous waste, just kind of gets pulled out. So we're gonna go hit the road and go park this, and I will be right back with y'all. Alright, so we headed on it last video, but let's go back a little bit. Alright, so I introduced myself and talked about, what got me into trucking. What I didn't talk about is what I've done in trucking. So, like I said and stated, I'm working on 11 years driving a truck. I've done local, I've done regional, I've done over the road, everything. So I first started at Swift. I know, everybody laugh in the comments, please. Worked there, team drove for a little while, with a really good friend of mine. Even to this day, we are still friends, and we live in two completely different states, doing two different completely careers right now. So I started there, moved over to Schneider, ran the Amazon account when Amazon was just starting out, before they had their own trucks and everything. Kind of jumped around as like a regional driver, ran the Target account with Schneider. Then, something kind of hit, and I was like, let me come home. So I ended up finding me a job, running a dump truck for a little while. It was fun, but honestly, really was not worth it for me. It was so monotonous, in, out, all day long. And I didn't like it. So ended up, finding odd jobs here and there. I go back and look. I'm just kind of touching base. I did work for a reefer company, and that was actually pretty decent. Wasn't my favorite. I love the reefer, don't get me wrong. It was so nice to sleep with a reefer running. If you're a truck driver, if the engine's idling, you can sleep like a baby. If you have a reefer and you can't idle your truck, that reefer running all night will just make you sleep like a baby. I've pulled flatbed. I've done steel hauling. I've done lumber, building materials. I've done a little bit of oversized heavy haul. Not a whole lot, but still some. I worked for a local outfit, hauling bulk cement on pneumatic trailers. Did that for almost 2 years. That's what really got me into tanks. I mean, granted, it was bulk, but it was still, tank work. Ended up working for an outfit, being over the road, majority hauling food grade. We were hauling a lot of eggs. It's 99.8% of what we hauled was eggs. Job was fun. I hated going to the shippers because you're going to a farm. So, decontamination suits, Tyvek, truck washes before entering the facilities because of the bird flu epidemic. The smell is the worst. If you've never been on a farm, I'm telling you, don't go to a chicken farm as your first farm. It is the worst smell ever. Worked for them, kind of bounced around. Then I worked for an owner-operator, kind of as a 1099 contract driver. Booking my own freight, running freight, home a few times a week, and that started going downhill. So that's how I ended up here, hauling hazmat. And like I stated, I've been here almost a year. I love it. I mean, they leave me alone. They tell me, hey, pick this up on Monday, deliver it on Tuesday, be back at our yard by Wednesday if you can make it. There's no rush. There's no time delays because what I haul is extremely sensitive. I noted on that DOT regulations, paperwork, logbooks, all that. I mean, my folder for paperwork is a lot bigger than most people's because I have to have so many permits for each state. I mean, I've got a low-level radiation permit for Florida. I've got hazardous waste for every state. And when I get stopped by DOT, they go, hey, for instance, I'm in Ohio. They go, hey, I need to see your logbook. I need to see your paperwork. Where did you pick up? Where are you delivering? What is your weight? We're going to do a level 1 inspection, which level 1, they're going to check everything. Headlights, taillights, brake lights, turn signals, horns, both city and air. They're going to check your brakes, make sure that your brakes are within, proper adjustment. They're going to check your tires. They're going to check your placards. They're going to check your permits. There's a list that you have to go through just to have, hazmat. On top of, my TWIC, which is my transportation workers card, which allows me on and off ports, my federal backgrounds, my state backgrounds. It's a lot, but at the end of the day, it's a few more things than what I used to do. It's just a little bit more paperwork. It's paperwork. It's a little bit more regulations. They're regulations. Our regulation book, if I could find it, is like this thick. But I love it. I love the job. I talk about, on the phone with friends and even my wife, that I want to come home. But I start looking at jobs to come home. And for me and my locality and what I want to accomplish in my life, the jobs aren't paying what I want them to pay. Not saying they're not out there, but for me, personally, they're not out there. So, I forgot what I was going to continue on. So, we'll touch base here shortly, and go from there. Like I said, my load actively is going to the lab. I'm under the rack right now. I'm not allowed to get out of the truck. I might be able to sneak a quick little video for y'all. And we're gonna get unloaded, probably take a nap, and then we'll get unloaded. After we get unloaded, we're gonna hit the road and we're gonna head on back to New Jersey. Wild and wonderful. Gotta love it. Well, folks, it's been a long day. Not a whole lot happened between, time I unloaded to here. I'm in Frostburg, Maryland right now. Bunch of rain, so I don't know about y'all, but rain makes me real tired. So I'm gonna eat some dinner, then I'm gonna take myself to bed. Tomorrow when we get up, we're gonna hit the road, and we're gonna head to Jersey. From Jersey, I don't know where we're going, so your guess is as good as mine. Until then, I'm going to bed, and I'll catch y'all in the morning. Well, as you can tell, it's the next day. Had a very uneventful night. Got up this morning, started my way towards Jersey. Got up there this morning, unhooked from the tank, walked inside the dispatch and talked to them for a few minutes, and told me, hey, just go ahead and grab a empty van and head on to the house. The whole reason I'm going to the house right now is I leave on Saturday to go on vacation. So, with that being said, there may or may not be a video posted for next week. If there is one, it'll be with my wife, myself, and my dog while we head to Gatlinburg, Tennessee for vacation and anniversary honeymoon trip. So, as always, be safe, keep your sun and shot up, and I'll catch you on the next ride.